Hey, welcome to the Backyard Blitz. We're back this week after taking a week off. That's my bad. I was feeling under the weather. But boys, I missed you guys. I really always feel it when we don't talk on the show for a week. Like, I freaking miss you guys. How you guys been?
Man, you screwed us all up last week, BP. I was all ready to go. And then, you
Here
hit
we
us
go.
with, oh, I'm sick. I think you were sick of watching all the news about all these other teams making moves and getting stuff done. And your Niners are sitting back there playing patty cake with their quarterback situation. That might be what you were sick about. But nevertheless, we're back. I moved back upstairs, as you can see. Hopefully I get a better internet connection up here. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about, man. We got a lot going on in the football world. So we're, exciting stuff going on. I don't know if you guys been watching the XFL or not, but I don't know what to think about it.
I know. Was the whole like full on brawl last week? Like,
there was a
took
brawl
place
last week. Reminded me of some semi-pro stuff that you would see on a friggin' midget field with 30-year-old men running around. But I don't know. Attendance has been rough, but not in St. Louis. I guess St. Louis is getting their fans out. So
they don't have
how it goes. I hope
they don't
stick
got a team
around
there anymore.
Yeah, I know. I hope they stick around, but we'll see. It's been hit or miss watching these games.
All these things, all these developmental leagues or other leagues other than the NFL have not fared very well. But Slick Man, how you been doing? I know that springtime, especially down in Florida, is a busy time for football. How you been doing, man?
I've been doing pretty good. Same old. Right now, I finally went to the campus at a new high school I'm at matter of fact, Tuesday just passed, and kind of like started some install. Other than that, like we haven't really been able to like kind of like get with the guys because they're either like the bigs, they either been weightlifting or wrestling, and the athletes like the speedsters been doing a lot of track and weightlifting. So like their schedule been busy, so we finally been able to like show face, kind of like introduce ourselves to the kids for the first time, which was Tuesday, and starting a little install, kind of like talking football with them just to kind of see like where their minds are, how much they understand about football, what they don't understand, just getting them familiar and comfortable with us.
Now, this is your lady's alma mater, right? Like This is her place. So how does it feel walking in to that building with, kids that you're trying to get used to? How's that been going? Like, has it been a smooth transition, been a rough transition, or
actually it's been smooth. Like I was telling my brother yesterday before he came, I told him the first day that I actually came and showed face and just said something, I didn't do any install. Like the kids were like welcoming, like they came up to me. Like when my first day when I started coaching at Sarasota, like I kind of had to introduce myself, had to go find the kids. Hey, my name's Coach Rick, Coach Simmons, whatever, which I don't have a problem with. But me coming to a new school, they went 0-9. Like you would think like the kids really don't care about football and they're just kind of like, oh, who is that type deal. But like all of them found their way to me like instantly.
Yeah, that's good news, man.
Have to introduce anybody or anything. So it's been cool so far.
That's good stuff. Drew, I see you got, was it Suns Out, Guns Out over there in Jersey?
Yeah, we've been having nice little weather. I've been hitting the gym a little bit. I got some. I gotta get back into it, man. I gotta get back into a little sideline shape, if you know what I'm saying. Can't divulge anything yet. But,
okay.
A little something in the works here, boys. Maybe a little announcement coming in the next couple of weeks, but we'll see. I think I'm looking pretty damn good myself.
I've seen better arms on a chair, but that's just me.
Okay.
Thanks
for that,
serious.
BP. What's been going on in the world of Brandon, man? What's shaking over there in Idaho?
I'll tell you what, man. I've been feeling pretty good about myself. I've been interviewing with this company for like a month. And they flew me down to Dallas 2 weeks ago. End up getting an official offer from them. So I'm going to be going over to a new company to be their operations manager here, based out of here in Boise. But it's a big move. I'm excited about it, man. It's got me pumped up, and may eventually take me a little bit closer to you guys. So,
well, that's good, man. Well, if that's going to happen, maybe you should find another job, because I really don't want you much closer to me than you are now, because I can't deal with another Eagles fan in 49ers garb. So, but congrats on the new job. We appreciate it. You know, we're happy for you. And,
yes, sir.
yeah, so everything's going good, man. It's good. I think talk to the Prophet, maybe back next week. I'm not sure.
Yeah, hopefully.
He's on a little sabbatical. Healing up.
I mean, we got to deal with Tony Three Thumbs, and you got to deal with all those guys. Sometimes, things pop up.
He's got a lot going on, that guy. So, we'll get him back here in the mix soon. But yeah, everybody's good. Exciting to be back. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Happy. It's almost New Year's, guys. You guys realize this? It's almost New Year's. Did you know this?
No, we didn't until you hit us with a homework assignment yesterday, but
we'll
talk about that.
I did.
We'll talk about that later. I said, listen, we come on this show, we talk football, we talk what we know. Brandon's like, all right, I'm going to need you guys to break down all the calculus schematics of the intricacies of
we could just really
salary cap.
We're gonna salary caps and all these.
We're gonna do the accounts payable. We got the accounts receivable. We got to do pluses and minuses and debits and credits, and we're gonna talk about it on the air. So that's what I've been dealing with.
Radio at a reasonable volume from 9 to 11 every day.
I freaking log on 2 minutes before the show, because I feel like a damn student back in high school where I didn't get my homework done, and the teacher's gonna yell at me when I get to class.
Hey.
Well, it's good. Later on you started giving me all this 49er like crap, and I was like, man, I really got to help educate Drew, because he's just missing the point. So these are the things that'll help you get on board. Happy New Year on next Wednesday. So to let you guys know, the NFL the new league year is March 15th. But what it means for us and the things that we're going to be talking about is that there's a whole lot of movement happening. If you've been paying attention or not paying attention, that's what we're here for. That's why you're watching the show. But there's been a lot of news that has kind of happened. So Monday, what's going to happen, it's called the first day of the legal tampering period, which means that these free agents, other teams are able to actually contact them and negotiate. So you'll start to see some deals start to go down. They won't become official until Wednesday, March 15th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Eastern time's for you fellas.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I try
9 p.m. Eastern time start for this show, by the way.
So you're 9 minutes later. Yeah. So we already had some big things that kind of happened. And the first one that dropped was Drew, your boy, Derek Carr, signed with the Saints. Now, 2 weeks ago, we played quarterback matchmaker, and I don't know if any of us really were hell-bent on the Saints happening. We're maybe talking about the Jets, talking about a couple other spots, but the Saints. So when you saw this, what was your first overall reaction to Derek Carr being the new New Orleans Saint?
I don't remember what I said a couple weeks ago where I thought he was going to go. I think it said it didn't matter where he's going to go, because he's going to suck anywhere.
Yeah, that's exactly what
I hold true to that point, but I also think I wasn't expecting him to go to New Orleans. You think of recent history in New Orleans, and he doesn't kind of fit that mold. He doesn't remind me at all of Drew Brees, and when they were packaging up Hill and Winston and stuff like that, he doesn't really fit that real mold. So it's a different signing for them. I think they're they're going back to a pocket quarterback, which Brees was, but he was different, man. Like he had functional movement in the pocket. He had great anticipation, great accuracy. He was kind of the field general, Brady-esque on the field, smaller obviously, but he knew where the hell he was going before the ball was even snapped. I haven't seen that with Carr. Carr's more of a pro style, longer wind up, longer release and stuff like that. And it just hasn't been the Saints' game in the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. So I'm curious to see how it'll go. Again, I don't have high hopes for the guy. I don't think he's that great. So, New Orleans wants to throw all his money at him. Go for it. Just helping out the other teams in your division, I think.
Yeah. What did you think, Slick? I kind of had mixed emotions about it. But what was your initial reaction when you saw New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr was a 4-year deal, $160 million, so $35 million per year type of deal?
It kind of surprised me. To be honest with you, when the Raiders let him go, I didn't think that anybody would pick him up to be a starter unless like they just didn't have anything, let alone give him the contract that they gave him.
Right.
When I saw that the Saints picked him up or was interested, I was questioning how they were going to handle that situation with him, Hill, and Jameis being there.
Yeah.
But once they gave the deal, that automatically let me know how they're going to handle it.
So it seems like
Jameis will be gone from all.
Yeah, Winston's odd man out. It seems like in this equation, right? Which that's another guy that's out there. I mean, he's a number 1 overall pick. What was this? 7-8 years ago, coming out of Florida State.
Crouch, but
yeah,
I mean, you want if we're going down that road, but so was Ryan Leaf and.
Well, Drew, I did.
So was Jamarcus Russell. I mean, if we're going to go one number, okay. So let's just use the number 1 overall pick argument as being the the end all be all. But
that's not the end all be all. But I'm just saying, like he was drafted high. Obviously, his career hasn't panned out worth that number 1 overall pick. So I wonder what's next for him, and I'm sure we'll kind of see some things. But I can imagine like his starting days are over. Unless something really crazy happens,
injuries or something.
Yeah,
I agree.
But this was something I thought was hilarious. So this was the Saints quarterbacks last year, their stats. Okay, 66% completion percentage, 3,900 yards, 24 touchdowns, 14 picks. Derek Carr's stats for 2022, 60% completion percentage, 3,500 yards, 24 touchdowns, 14 picks. It's like those before and after pictures where literally nothing has changed from what they had last year to now. The only thing I think this is good for is Derek Carr because it gives him an opportunity to kind of show, hey, like I was not in a good situation in Vegas or with Oakland or whatever. He went through a bunch of different coaches, but I mean, it's on him, and we'll see if he lasts longer than a season or two with the Saints. But
like you said, that's going to be it's the only thing going for Carr is the fact that he can come out here and try and prove that he didn't have what he needed in Vegas.
Right. Now,
but did he not, or did he just not perform? I don't know. You got Devontae Adams. What else do you need as a quarterback, man?
Exactly. And you had Waller and you had Josh Jacobs.
Right.
All those things.
He had pieces.
Yeah, he had pieces.
At least this year. Maybe
exactly
not when he first got to Oakland, when they were Oakland at the time. But this year, he definitely had pieces. Not to be a Super Bowl contender, but at least playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
On that too, Larry.
Yeah. So just touching on Yemo here, Carr played 2 less games. Well, why?
Because who are you, Yemo? Tell us who you are.
They benched him because he wasn't doing any good. And these stats for the Saints are over 3 different quarterbacks between Taysom Hill, Jameis, and Andy Dalton. So, I mean, 2 less games. Yeah. Still sucks.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I will say that division is really kind of up for the taking because Brady's gone. Carolina doesn't really have a quarterback, and Atlanta, like I don't know if they're going to roll with Ritter or what. So like that's going to be an interesting. He's the anonymous Eagles fan, of course. They're all anonymous grouches. So we had a whole lot of other stuff that happened though, right? So Derek Carr was the first one that fell, but then there was a franchise tag deadline yesterday. So there was some movement that we're kind of looking at to see what happened. Now, this was interesting to me, and Slick, I want to know what you think about this. The Baltimore Ravens gave the non-exclusive tag to Lamar Jackson, which means he can talk with anybody that he wants, but the non-exclusive tag means that if he does sign elsewhere, the Baltimore Ravens get 2 first-round picks, and they have the opportunity to match the deal that he could potentially sign somewhere else. This just to me says he's not going to be in Baltimore next year. Like, what do you guys think about this thing? I'll start with you, Slick.
I like the fact that they kind of like left it open and gave him an option to do X, Y, and Z, and they didn't just like pin him in to where he just kind of like had no choice and had to deal with like just a normal franchise tag. So I do like that fact. But my thing is, why not just give him his money? Like, why not?
Yeah, I don't know.
Give him his money. Like you not. I mean, you got the Giants who just gave
bro
exactly gave Daniel Jones that money,
$35 million a year.
Yes, Carr just got his bag. What other quarterback?
Geno Smith got broke off, right?
Geno Smith got broke off. But and even with that being said, he still got broke off less than Carr and Jones, and he had a better year than both.
Right?
Who, Lamar?
No,
so here's
Geno.
the thing.
Geno.
Well, here's the thing, Rick, and this is where I think the Ravens are playing this probably as best as they possibly can. You tag him for $32 million. All right. Now you have the option if any team wants to sign him to match their offer. So now you're bidding against yourself. So if somebody wants to come in and sign him for $36 million, which right now it seems to be the market because these guys are, and I want to talk about the contracts that these guys are signing. You got Daniel Jones making $40 million a year. So if somebody wants to come in and I think you can make the argument that Lamar, I don't think anybody's worth that much money, but in today's world is worth more than Daniel Jones. Okay. So now the Ravens are kind of keeping it to themselves to where, all right, if we can get him for another year on a steal at $32 million, then we got one more year out of it, and we'll do this again next year. Now, or somebody's going to come over and say, hey, we'll give you $42 million a year, and then the Ravens got to make a decision.
And then they get 2 first rounders out of it, by the way.
Right. Or they get 2 first rounders out of it. So now they got I think the Ravens are whatever you want to call it, it's business. They're handling business as best they possibly can, I think. And Lamar feels like he's worth X. The Ravens feel like he's worth X. Now, if another team comes in and say, I think you're worth this, now the ball's in the Ravens' court. You either re-sign them or you get 2 draft picks for him.
I get everything you're saying, Drew. What I'm saying is, since Lamar has been with Baltimore, before he got to Baltimore wasn't as relevant as they are now since when
Flacco.
I won't even say Flacco that year when
Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, that defense. Like they had up and down years. Flacco did get them pretty far, but they had a potent defense. They still had Ray Lewis and a couple vets on that defense. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, for me, it's like, since he's been there, like, you don't feel like he's worth the money. Like,
no, I
agree.
I think I know what you're saying.
Office, like, it's crazy to me. It's like, what else does he need to do?
What do you think Brandon wants us to do in this show tonight? Put your GM hat on. Why wouldn't you get the guy for as low as possible amount that you can get him for? That way you're keeping money open to fill in other holes. And then, like I said, if you can get one more year out of him, we're in this boat again next year.
Or you can
is it fair to Lamar? Probably not, but
you can give him the bag.
It also might pay for Lamar to get an agent or somebody.
You can give Lamar the bag, and you can get maybe 1 or 2 receivers, maybe one early and one later, to help him out on offense.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at cap wise. Brandon would know better than.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it up.
I mean, but they would still be under rookie contracts, though, right or wrong.
I'm talking about for Lamar. Like,
so right now, I think this is part of the problem. Okay, so right now, they're about $10 million over the cap space right now. So right now, this moment with Lamar's non-exclusive franchise tag or whatever. Now, what I think,
right now, right this second,
right now, this very second, and they got to be under that by, I think it's Monday.
Right now.
They got, or on next Wednesday, they got to be under that thing. So they got to restructure.
Yeah, but you're right. It turns into chess. It's a chess match.
It is.
I mean, I get it.
It's a front office athlete chess match.
Let me ask you guys this. What do you think the holdup is? Because obviously he was the MVP of the league a couple years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
So do you think, because I know what it's been reported, at least, I don't know if it's fact, but it's been reported that he wants a completely guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson. And we know that contract was,
that's ridiculous.
Was kind of crazy. So I think, I wonder if that's where the holdup is. But I mean, if you look and kind of diving into this topic, you look at Geno Smith getting 3 years, $105 million, Daniel Jones, 4 years, 160, Derek Carr, 4 years, 160. Like, if you don't have a quarterback, you're paying a boatload for a mediocre one. At least is what it looks like. Daniel Jones and Derek Carr, right? $35 million a year.
That's
Geno
what
Smith.
So it's like rebirth Geno
he
Smith.
leaves, then what? Like, what are we doing? Like, are you?
So
I don't know.
Would you guys believe me if I told you that for every year that Lamar Jackson's been in the league, he's had one season over 3,000 yards passing?
No, I believe you.
I believe you.
I mean, you can just, if that might be the holdup, is his stats, is his performance. Is he electric?
He's only
his performance.
Did he only win like one playoff game?
Look at it. I mean, you can look at his numbers.
What has Derek Carr done?
Nothing. Don't get me started on Derek.
So that's
Carr.
what I'm saying. His performance.
Right. Yeah, I can't help the market. I can't help the market, dude. But all I can help is
Daniel Jones done.
Listen,
other than this year.
I can't help if the idiot Giants want to sign Daniel Jones at $40 million a year, but maybe the Ravens are a little bit smarter in the front office, and they're like, we're not going to give this guy $40 million because we could use it elsewhere. We could get somebody else to throw for 2,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 17
That's where it
picks.
is. That's where it is.
Somewhere else.
This isn't baseball. This isn't any of those things where you can play, where you can pay all these guys, right? It's a salary cap. So you pay him. Let's say you pay him 25% of your salary cap. That 75% has to go towards the other 52 guys on the roster, right? So, I mean, they must think that there is another option that's available that they could potentially get. But in my mind, they built their team around Lamar Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. And they built the team around him. But again, I was telling someone today, and I've told you guys this, since he's been in the NFL, his first 2 years, his two leading receivers were tight ends, Hurts and Andrews. And he had a decent backfield at the time before they got hurt. But as far as anything down the field, what has he had? Marquise Brown was his number one, and he's really a 3.
But what's the offense that they run, though? Is that a knock on him, or is that a knock on the guy calling the plays? That's my thing. Like, I feel after a period of time, it becomes like he can only just drop top. Hey, I thought I was going to have internet issues. He can't give me a hard time ever again after this. But like, that's my thing is like when like he does have his limitations. Like, I feel like he does as a passer, at least like when he's forced to only throw. But that's not who he is. Like, he's not going to just sit back there and only throw. His athleticism makes him the dynamic player that he is. But also, I think that brings up that injury risk a little bit. And he has been hurt, I think, 2 out of the last 4 years, right? Where he's been injured and has missed, I think, 4 or more games. So I think they're kind of weighing this and be like, okay, completely guaranteed. What if he blows out his knee, can never play again? He still gets $200 and some odd million. It's going to be interesting to see what this happens, but I just feel like, hey, he's back. I just feel like he's not going to be a Baltimore Raven next year. And if so, like, where do you think he goes? Like, what do you think? I thought Atlanta immediately made sense to me, but I guess Atlanta issued a statement, said that they're not going for him at all. So if he's not with Baltimore, where do you think that he ends up?
I don't know. I have no clue. Other than because no matter where he goes, to be honest with you, if Baltimore doesn't re-sign him, wherever he goes, I feel like it's basically like a setup from the NFL. Because the reason why I say that is because, like you said, when he came into Baltimore, Harbaugh knew what type of guy he was. He built his offense around him.
Right.
If Lamar goes to someone else and they already don't have an offense that's similar, I don't feel like they're going to do what they need to do to build an offense around him. And they're going to try to do the same thing they did to Vic, where they try to force him to be a pocket passer.
Yeah, when he was with Philly, right?
Yeah,
where they're like,
try to
hey,
force him to be a pocket passer, which is going to kill his value, and he's not going to be the guy that everyone wants him to be, and he's going to end up being, and next thing you know, he can't play the game anymore. It's all BS. Like you said, it's business, but it's just, I just hate the way they handle business. Like, let him play ball. He got to the NFL for a reason. He won a Heisman Trophy almost 2 years in a row for a reason. It wasn't because he was just sitting in the pocket being the sitting duck.
Well, if they look at the stands, like what jerseys they selling?
Exactly.
It's number 8 purple Jackson jersey.
Like, let him do what he does. Like, he made Baltimore relevant again. Like, no, he hasn't had all the crazy accolades, but a lot of the quarterbacks that came in with him that are pocket passers haven't either.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, like my own perspective from it. I'm not a huge fan of that type of a quarterback right now, because you got to be able to stand back in the pocket. The NFL, they're going to take certain things away from you. But at the same time, in that same breath that I say that, I know I don't want to play against him either. I might not want him on my team, but I don't want to play against that dude. He's like right in that middle ground of I feel like if he was a little bit more of a prolific passer, this would have been done. And I feel like there's still some questions that he's got to answer for. And I want to see it. I want to see it happen in Baltimore. I like him as a kid. I like him as a player. I enjoy him in Baltimore. I just don't know what other team would be able to build that around him like right now, other than Atlanta, maybe. Only because they did it out of necessity. Now, switching off of that topic, guys, we're seeing some quarterbacks, right, with Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, and Derek Carr. I think we can all agree on these are mid-level at best quarterbacks.
Yes.
Right? $35 million average right now. That's crazy. Like Aaron Rodgers is probably, one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. His cap number, I think, is at 50 right now. But Patrick Mahomes isn't going to come up for a while, but you're going to see some of these guys like, that are going to come up. Jalen Hurts, matter of fact.
Hurts. They're talking about Hurts being $50 million guy.
Oh my God, guys!
Like, it's turning into baseball, is what it is. It's freaking crazy.
Cow. That's crazy. But you don't see another position make anything close to that, right?
I saw Micah Parsons sent out a tweet last night. He said, "I'm changing my position to quarterback." Because I
get why they pay the quarterback so much. I understand this. Let's be real. It's the hardest position on the field. It is.
Well, there's not 32 starting quarterbacks on earth. There's just not. We talk about these mid-level guys and we talk about all the things that they can't do. Everybody wants that top 5 elite quarterback and they're trying to pay for it. And if you don't have a guy, you're hoping that you draft a guy. And we're going to talk a ton about the draft, in the coming weeks, but it's a crapshoot, really. Yeah. Like, it really is a crapshoot. You have Mr. Irrelevant going out there winning 7 games, and you have Trevor Lawrence and all these other guys, at the. But what I'm just saying is, what I'm saying is, like, you have a guy that was literally the last pick of the draft who sees success that none of that's happened in a really long time, if ever. But then you see some of these guys like a Zach Wilson, who's second overall pick, having a hard time. Trevor Lawrence has really started to come into his own this year. Justin Fields has his questions, first round guy, right? So you're seeing it kind of like all over the board. I don't know where you could comfortably feel like you could draft a quarterback and say, all right, he's going to be the guy.
I've been saying it for years, Brandon. The overvaluation of quarterbacks in the NFL is through the roof. And if you play quarterback at a big name school and you put up halfway decent numbers, you're going to go high. You're going to go in the first round. It's unbelievable to me. You mentioned Zach Wilson. How did he get drafted where he got
COVID
drafted?
Year, right?
You mentioned
1 year in COVID.
You mentioned, you talk about Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duke.
Congrats to Brian Dable for putting him in, the positions he put him in. But he's not that great.
Right.
It happens all the time. And just because these guys are, quarterbacks at a high profile school, they're taken so high. And you can go down the list. Like, if we went down, I would like to see you pull up a list of like the top 10 quarterbacks taken in the last 7 years and see where they're at.
Even think about Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, right? Baker Mayfield's on his way out the league, it seems like.
Right.
Kyler Murray got an extension, but we still have tons of questions about him. Manziel. Burrow is a guy that worked out. Like, he's doing well.
Right.
Josh Allen.
As of now, he's working out.
Josh Allen, we still have questions about him. He looks to be in that elite status, though, and he was a guy that had a ton of different questions.
I would give Josh Allen, like,
I think he's an elite quarterback.
Josh, you can't put Josh Allen in the same category as like Daniel Jones. I don't think. You know,
I wouldn't put him in the same.
He's a good quarterback. I think that's a hit. I wouldn't consider that a miss, but it's just crazy, man. The one that really threw me, recent memory was Zach Wilson, and I couldn't. And Carson Wentz. Wild. Carson Wentz. I was not a Wentz guy.
Was he number 2 overall?
He was number 2 overall, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
I said it then. I was like, this is a joke. This guy just got drafted here. What did I think he won like the national title at North Dakota State, but like it was I don't know.
Well, it's just wild.
They call me the QB whisperer, BP, and I just see these things.
It's just wild to me because of all the positions, like you see, other positions hit a little bit more often, right? Like if you're going to get a corner in the first round, you probably got a good player. Like you've seen him do the work, but like for some reason with quarterback, it's so off. And then you see, to your point, over evaluate the quarterback. They'll draft a guy higher because they got a need. They're drafting first or second overall because they don't have a guy. And it's almost like they just pray that he's that guy so bad that they draft him, and he's just not what they like. I don't know. I don't understand.
I mean, they're you're talking about they're talking about all this possible movement in this year's draft to take 4 guys.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You kidding me?
I mean, some of the cases, I feel like some of those quarterbacks, they fall into the wrong system, and it kind of like kills their career early. Because go ahead.
There is a thing as not every year has to be a blue chip caliber kind of year in the draft for quarterbacks. Just because they're available doesn't mean that they're the next All-American or All-Pro. But there's not one year where a quarterback isn't taken, in the top 10, top 5. Yeah. I think, or maybe one.
Was it Hutchinson went 1 last year, right? Like didn't he go number 1 last year to Detroit?
I think that was the first year.
First year in a long time. So it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna talk about quarterbacks and all that, but I mean, we're seeing it now. Like if you don't have one, you're overpaying for one, and if you don't have one, you're losing your job potentially, and you're going to a place that is going to be in the top 5, and you're going to be drafting a quarterback, and you're going to be tied to his success, and you either hope that he's a guy. Or guess what? You're both on your way out. And it just seems like that's the way of the NFL right now. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, we're going to talk about quarterbacks, for a while coming up in the draft. But one of the biggest things, Monday, we're going to start to see a lot of things happen. We're going to start to see some new faces and some new places signing some big deals. So what I want to do is we're going to take a look at what the salary cap looks like right now. Let me get this out of here. So this is where everybody's at now. Come Wednesday, all these teams in the red have to be in the black. They cannot be in the red anymore. They have to be cap compliant is what it's called. And you're going to see teams that are even in the black that are going to restructure some deals to basically have enough cap space to be able to go after some guys. Now, this is a really deep free agency group, deeper than I've seen in the last couple of years. So I did give you guys a homework assignment. The homework assignment was there's a couple teams here at the top. We got the Bears, we got the Falcons, and we got the Raiders. I'm not ready to talk about the Texans yet. I feel like they're a ways off, but the Bears, they have almost $100 million in cap space. The Falcons, what are they sitting at? $66 million. Yeah. And then the Raiders are sitting at about $40 million. So what I sent out a text you guys Tuesday, and I said, all right, hey, we're going to put our GM hats on. You got 4 moves. Whether it be in the draft, whether it be in free agency or trade, that you can make your team that you choose competitive. Okay. They got plenty of space. They got to make moves. They got to get some guys on their squads. Okay. So that was it. So I think that the Bears, Falcons, and Raiders are going to be top spenders in 2023. They got the most space, guys. So let's do this thing. Now, who wants to go first?
I thought you said we were going to talk about the combine first.
We'll talk about the combine.
We're not talking about the combine. Good.
We'll talk about the combine.
Pissed. I was hot. I hate the combine.
Anyway. We'll talk about the combine. But this is the fun part. I don't know how long this will take.
I hate the combine.
But I got the Raiders.
Am I up first?
Slick's got the Falcons, and Drew is got the Bears. So
Falcons,
since you're at the
Bears with the largest salary cap in the history of the world.
So Drew, you're the GM of the Bears right now. You got 4 moves to make to put some guys around Justin Fields and kind of shore up that squad.
Whoa. Why did you say put guys around Justin Fields, assuming that I'm going to keep Justin Fields?
Hey, I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what you're going to do.
You see this hat right here? It says PFG. It doesn't stand for Performance Fishing Gear. It stands for Pretty Friggin' Good GM. And that's what I am. All right. That's what I'm going to be for the Chicago Bears team. All right. And when I say the first move that I'm going to make is trading Justin Fields,
my God.
I am absolutely lying because that is not something that they want to do. All right.
Blake was going to come out of his chair.
This guy comes on, and in a pack full of losers, he was the shiniest turd, man. I'll tell you what. All season, he was
the shiniest turd.
Fields kept that team single-handedly kept that team relevant in more than a handful of games. All right. Now, it wasn't enough to be relevant for they had me in the first half, not gonna lie, but what's that quote?
Oh, that was
they had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Yeah, I guess he hasn't watched the show because I like to do that, trick you guys. But listen, the Bears need work. The Bears need a lot of work, and there is a lot of talk out there about potentially trading Justin Fields, and getting all these draft picks back. I think that's a very bad idea. What they need to do is protect Justin Fields, and I think that's the obvious answer. Now, I'm going a different way in the draft, so I'll touch on that in a little bit. I think the first thing that they need to do, there's 2 offensive linemen in the free agent market right now that the Bears need to go out and sign right away. All right? The first offensive lineman is Orlando. What's his last name, Brandon?
Brown.
Orlando Brown. Go out and sign him. All right? Protect your quarterback. Give him whatever he needs. Give him however much money he wants. All right? And go out there and make sure Fields has got
$100 million already burning a hole in his pocket. You see that?
Yeah, I know. Well, how much is he going to make per year? We're talking about quarterbacks making $50 million. How much does the top paid offensive lineman make?
I think he'll make about probably 18, 19 right in there.
Okay. Chump change. All right. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to go out there and you're going to sign Mike McGlinchey. And you're going to sign the top 2 offensive lineman free agents on the market. And then you're good there. You're good there. Your golden boy Fields is protected. All right, we could fill in, put these guys, put one on the right side, one on the left side, fill in the middle, and we'll figure out the rest, right? Darnell Mooney. Everybody says he's our number 1. He emerged. He ain't emerged as nothing. All right, you need to go out and you need to give Fields a target, a number 1. What's Rick always say?
Rick always says it.
What's Rick always say? You need a number 1. All right, is there a number 1 in free agency? It's possible. My suggestion would be go out there and sign a vet. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be a free agent. The Chiefs aren't going to re-sign him, and they're going to bring him in, and he's going to be. Listen, he's
not a number 1.
No, he's not a number 1, but he is a reliable workhorse. All right, you didn't let me finish. Stop interrupting me. Actually, I don't have a number 1. I said sign Smith-Schuster, bring in a veteran receiver, all right, that could help the younger guys develop, and that is going to be sure-handed for Fields. Give him an option. Now, defensively, they were the worst-ranked defense in the league. the literal last ranked defense in the league. Now, the big move that they need to make is to not trade the number 1 draft pick. Do not trade the number 1 draft pick, because there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, they're going to trade it. They're going to trade it. Do not do that. All right. And the man that you need to take is your game changer, your blue chipper, Will Anderson from Alabama. He's going to be the number 1 non-quarterback taken. Now, there's rumors out there that they could trade down to number 4 to the Colts. The Colts are willing to give up a mortgage for a quarterback. I don't know that Will Anderson will be there at 4. Take him at number 1. Take the best player available to your need, all right, and wrap it up. Don't take any chances. Don't trade the pick. I don't care what you get in return. You need a playmaker on that defensive line. And then you can go out and sign some free agents in the secondary and on the linebacking core. One that comes to mind is Rocky Sin. They need a little depth here at corner. He's got a previous relationship with the head coach. All right, that would be a good signing for them. But go out there, use your number 1 pick on Will Anderson, a generational guy. He'll be on your team for a decade, and he'll be a difference maker from day 1. Ask the Lions if they regret anything about trading or about drafting Hutchinson.
Okay,
and I guarantee they don't.
Larry, how did Drew do? We got 2 tackles, we got a receiver, we got an edge rusher coming out of the draft. Shoot it out in the comments. Would love to see what you think of what Drew did for your team right there. So, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think? How do you think Drew did?
I don't disagree with him. I mean, with the Bears, like, let's be real. Like, how much worse can you, like, anything you add is a plus to the Bears. So the fact that he had 2 linemen, which they're not.
Fields is going into his 3rd year, by the way, not his 2nd.
Okay, I get it.
I'm saying, wasn't that the thing from a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I said he was a rookie. He's going to his 3rd year. I know, but I mean, the Bears still have been down. Like, it is what it is.
Look at that snow squall.
Yeah, there's a little snow outside.
So the fact that he wants to get two top O linemen for protection, cool. Like he said, whatever they have already there, they can kind of like figure it out. He definitely needs a receiver. I wouldn't go Juju route. I don't care.
Juju's just a little addition to the receiving core. He's not the guy. I don't know if the guy is out there on free agency.
But the guy might be there. If you bring in Juju with what they have, he would most likely end up being the guy.
So my
Claypool hasn't done anything.
You can still be the guy. You can still get a guy.
So my thought on the receiver piece, DeAndre Hopkins is up for trade. Like, the Arizona Cardinals have been very adamant about this. I don't think you need to give up a 1st rounder, especially number 1 overall pick, but maybe a 2nd rounder. And you give him up and you get Justin Fields, DeAndre Hopkins. What do you think about that? Like, do you think?
What do you think about signing Julio Jones?
Oh God,
the revival.
No,
or maybe a revitalization.
He's done.
I go Hop.
I go D Hop.
Julio he's like a Sammy. Like, you hope he stays healthy. You hope he stays healthy. If he does stay healthy, he gives you positive with the offense. But as soon as he gets a knick-knack and injury, he hurts the offense.
Will Anderson had 27.5 sacks the last 2 years at Alabama.
Will Anderson's an absolute stud. And one thing that the Bears defense has missed is Khalil Mack when he was at his best, right? And I definitely love that pick. So Larry likes the Hopkins. All right, maybe I should have. All right, well, we'll see. I like what Drew did. I like when you got a guy, you got to protect him. Orlando Brown, I love McGlinchey, so that's good. Now, Slick, it's your turn, man. You're the GM of the Falcons. What did you come up with to turn that franchise around, man? Let's hear it.
From what I saw this year, since they had so many young guys, definitely what hit the free agency pool, and like Drew said, get an O lineman, which I said Orlando Brown. Try to go get Jesse Bates, a safety, and try to get David as well. as far as draft wise, I would try to draft the quarterback from Kentucky, Will Levis. How do you say his name?
Yeah, is it Levi's?
I think it's Levis. I thought
Levis.
Levis.
Did you guys hear he's deathly afraid of milk?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's afraid of milk.
Yeah, that guy's kind of weird. I seen a couple interviews about him. Like he's kind of weird. Like,
is he Russell Wilson weird?
No, Russell Wilson is a cornball.
I think Russell
he's
Wilson's
not weird. He's just a cornball. And then as far as Mariota, I would try to trade up Mariota to see what I can kind of like get for him with a couple of like draft picks in the future. See if I can like trade up and get like a running back earlier. Take a running back early in the draft, either your boy from Texas or either Gibbs from Bama.
Oh,
because they have a lot of young talent, but it's just not.
Anderson, is that who you're talking about?
Who? The running back?
The boy. Oh, okay, I got you.
No. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
No, isn't his last name Gibbs?
I just don't think that there's a lot of trade value in Mariota right now.
It's not. That's why I said I would try to with draft like a first and whatever draft picks for the next year. Like go with it. You know what I'm saying? And see.
So you don't think you think Ritter is the guy they're going to roll with, or you think they like? No,
I would leave him there to be my number 2. I would draft.
Now you're going to have two QBs drafted in the last 2 years.
I know, but
I mean that's tough. I mean it's not unheard of. It just happened.
I just don't think I don't think. I mean, Mariota is a vet, but like I just feel like when he played and when you put in your boy Reddick from Cincy, I feel like you kind of got a little bit of the same thing. So if that's the case, I'd rather go with the young guy.
Well, I mean, you're going back to what I said, the overvaluation. There's no reason why Desmond Ritter should be starting as much as he did last year, personally speaking. But
I mean, yeah, I get it, but you had Mariota, so it's like
I'm with you. Like I said,
so overall, you had. Let's go over it again. So you wanted to sign Levante David.
Yeah.
What was the other guy?
Jesse Bates,
the safety,
and Orlando Brown.
Orlando Brown to protect.
And
then
that's too bad because he's already on the Bears.
And then draft.
We already signed them.
Draft Will Levis, however you say his name.
Okay,
and
I gotcha.
And fish Mariota with a couple draft picks to see what I can get from him. See if I can sneak a running back or either a receiver in the mix.
All right. Okay. Well, now, boys, it's my turn, and I got to be the GM for the Raiders.
He's got music. Of course he does.
Right? I got music. It's on my phone here, Drew. You can make whatever you want. I mean, the talents, rise in the top here. I'll let you guys go first.
Yep.
The autumn wind is a Raider. So this is what I got. So they don't got a quarterback right now, right? Derek Carr is gone. They decided to make that decision was week 15. Okay. So the first problem they got to solve is who's throwing the ball to guys like Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. And it seems like Aaron Rodgers is potentially going to be a Jet. It doesn't seem like he's going to be a Raider. He's way expensive. And I also think that he's just a weird guy. Like, I don't know what, like, even if you traded for him, right? I don't know if he's going to play next year. I don't even know if he's going to play this year. So I can't go with Rodgers. And after all these guys went, I don't think Lamar Jackson would be the guy there, just based how their offense is. But you turn to a vet. You don't want to turn this over to a rookie. It's a crapshoot. So you turn to a guy that wins games, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo. He's the guy that is he's probably the top quarterback that's available outside of Lamar Jackson. He's worked with McDaniels before. You go with Jimmy Garoppolo. You plug him in there. And I feel like that offense, he can step right in. Even if you drafted a guy, he's a leader, he's professional, and you can see how that works out. You can kind of build from that position, but you need a guy there first, okay? Second thing, the Raiders defense gave up points like crazy. They were 18th overall defense, but we know that they gave up 4 double-digit halftime leads. Okay. And one of their big problems was at linebacker. They don't got one. So I looked at Levante David. He's 33. Wasn't sure about him, but I know a guy that's consistent. He's about as long in the tooth, but he's consistent. He's a leader. And that guy is Bobby Wagner. You put Bobby Wagner in the middle of that defense. A little bit long, old.
You like Wagner over David?
I do. And I looked at both of their PFF, their grades, and Bobby Wagner's just been consistent year after year. At first I was going with David. I was going with him. I like his speed. I like the things that he brings, but realistically they need to be able to stop the run. And Bobby Wagner does that. He brings leadership, and he's also, he's younger than David. Did you know this? He's younger by about 6 months. So I go with Bobby Wagner. You get 6 months. It's a season. It's a season. So you get him. And also here's the thing. You can get him for a little bit cheaper than a Levante David. So you can, I don't have $100 million like Andrew does over there. I don't have that. I gotta kind of stay within, right here. Third guy I'm getting, I got to protect my guy. And I was going to go with Orlando Brown, but he's going to be a little bit too expensive. I feel like with the offense that they run, they want to be really run heavy. I'm going to get the best run lineman in free agency, and that's going to be Mike McGlinchey. And I don't care if I go into a bidding war with Drew. I got to get this guy. He's a good leader. I'm going to go with him. He's a right tackle, though. They have a left tackle who is actually in the same draft as McGlinchey. They picked up in Colton Miller, which they picked after the 49ers picked Mike McGlinchey. And the fourth guy I'm going to go with, I went back and forth on this one. I was thinking maybe Gardner Johnson as a safety there. He's also played nickel. He's really versatile. I was thinking about maybe going with the corner from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's Dean. Yep, Jamel Dean. And I went with Jesse Bates. He's 26 years old. He's been the leader of that Bengals defense. And I feel like he is a core guy that you could bring in the safety position. They haven't had a safety there in a while. They tried to draft one in Jonathan Abram, and he was a total bust. They have Trayvon Mooring, I think, back there. He's a developmental guy. But I think you bring in Bates and you shore up the three levels, right? You got two edge rushers and Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. You bring in a Bobby Wagner to help stop that run, and you get a guy back there at safety that can really help out that defense, and you get a guy slinging around. I don't think they need to do a ton on offense. They need to shore up that offensive line, but I think they got weapons, and I think they shore up that defense. They help protect the quarterback a little bit. They can get it done. They can absolutely get it done. And I didn't draft a guy yet. They still have that 7th overall pick. They can do whatever they want. They can bring in some younger guys and go under some of these vets that they brought in. But I don't think they're that far off. I don't think that they're that far off of being a team that we can have that conversation with, because you want to know what the main problem I think was Carr. I think he needed a change in scenery. So you bring in a guy that's already turned around a franchise, won, led, all that, a gap guy potentially. I don't know what the money's going to look like on a Jimmy Garoppolo. I would say probably around the same range as your Daniel Joneses and your Derek Carrs, but I think you bring him in there. I don't know if you go with Stroud or whatever.
Golly,
what, Drew?
Tell you what, man. Yeah, no, pay him top dollar, Brandon, because he played for the 49ers.
No, I don't know. I think so. He's the 5th quarterback right now, and so you have Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith. Let's see who these guys are.
I don't even try anymore, Rick. You know what it is.
What's wrong with that? Like, because he played with the 49ers? Drew? Like, what's your
nothing.
problem?
No, 40
but outside of
Garoppolo, who didn't even play
35. I said 35. I said 35. I don't know what that looks like. So you got Lamar Jackson, Geno Smith, Derek Carr,
Drew, I was just looking at your
Daniel
face.
Jones.
Just waiting.
Jimmy Garoppolo is the 28th ranked guy in free agency. And the guy after that, though, is Jacoby Brissett. So are you going to go bring in Jacoby? No. All those other guys above are locked up.
Jacoby $35 million? No.
No, and he's not going to be your guy either. And you're not going to bring in Teddy Bridgewater or Baker Mayfield.
The next literally the next guy up is Jimmy G, and you're going to pay him $35 million, but you would give Brissett like $8 million.
I don't know what that looks like. So on this sheet here, his projected contract is 1 year, $15 million. But that was before.
Sounds about right. I mean, I could see that. I could see the Raiders doing something like that, where they bring in Garoppolo for $15 million a year. That's where I see his number, something like that. 15, 20, maybe.
But now we've seen, the problem is that we've seen Daniel Jones, Geno, all those guys. So I don't know what that looks like for a Garoppolo. I don't know if you give him a long-term deal because of his injury history. That's what would concern me. But then, there's not another guy unless you're going to draft. And you have guys that can win now, I think, with the Raiders.
No, I mean, we'll see what happens. I get it, but I don't know if you know how I feel, man, about Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if he's the guy. I'm looking up the quarterback free agents right now, and there were some intriguing names that I saw out there, and I want to go back and I know I'm not the GM of your team, but
well, it's okay. So Drew,
I
can
am
help
a GM. So let's see here.
Here's the guys out there. You got Geno.
I got it. I got it.
Okay,
I got it. I'm going after Tom Brady. I'm going after Tom Brady for 1 year. Just bringing him back for 1 year. $45 million.
Wow.
No, there ain't nothing.
$45 million.
There ain't nothing out there. Bring in Taylor Heineke. Bring him in.
He gets after me for Jimmy Garoppolo. There's nobody out there.
Bring in Heineke for $7 million a year, and bring in.
But I think what Drew was saying is Guapo is one notch, literally one person above Brissett, and you wouldn't pay Brissett the big bucks, but you're saying Guapo should get the big bucks with Daniel Jones and all those other guys. That's what I think Drew was kind of like,
I think.
No, I'm not saying pay him the big bucks, but what I am saying is based off of what the market has been for, because I didn't think Daniel Jones was going to get what he got. I didn't think Geno Smith was going to get what he got either.
Right.
So that's the only thing I'm saying.
Geno Smith surprised the crap out of me. Daniel Jones surprised me a little bit. Let's see. Let's ask this question: is Wentz done in the NFL, or what? Who's going to sign him?
I know he's out there. And he's had how many shots? 3?
Yeah.
3 shots. Philly went with the Colts, blew up
3
there.
3 shots in 6-7 years? 6 years?
3 years, I think.
3 shots in 3 years, but how long has he been in the league?
He's in Washington now, right?
No, he got released.
Oh, they got released.
Yes, Larry. Jimmy's made it a full season. He's actually made it 3 full seasons. He missed 2.
Here we go. Thanks, Larry.
18 games.
Yeah,
when he played with the Patriots?
No. So
Brady, or you mean with the 49ers?
With the 49ers. So 2019, he made it through that whole season. 2018, he had an ACL. 2020, he had a high ankle sprain. He missed the last half of the year. 2021, he got hurt, but he played the whole season. And then 2022, he broke his foot. It's like every other year that something happens. So next year, he'll make a full season. But in 2024, he ain't getting out of that one alive.
Apparently, Brady came out already, Larry, and said that the rumors about him to Miami are.
He has a cat. He's got a cat.
He said you want to see me play. Wait until you get a 2-year-old, a kitten, and see if you have time. Anyway, good job, GM Brandon.
I like it.
I think you did a pretty good job. But
I think we all did a good job. But what is going to be interesting to me is that all these things that we just said are going to be so far off when we go on the show next week, because they're going to make some crazy stuff. I'm excited. So Combine, right? We had the Combine this last week. Guys in their tight spandex on TV, running their drills. Now, Drew, you had to done a pro day, right? You had a Combine. What was your favorite drill?
I never wore spandex. You know what my favorite drill at a Combine is? None of them. I hate the Combine. It's ridiculous. You got 2 guys that I can think of off the top of my head that now their careers are severely altered because of what they did at the freaking Combine. Got injured. You had a dude from
USC,
big old offensive tackle from Oklahoma, pop his hammy running the 40. You had a dude from USC, O-lineman, tear his ACL doing drills. Why? It doesn't make any sense. You evaluate this talent. You want to bring these guys in, great. You want to put them in tight ass spandex so you can see what they look like to make sure they're in shape and they're, they got muscle mass and whatever. Great. You want to give them a little bench press, stuff like that. Fine, whatever. If that tickles your fancy, go ahead. But to put these guys through the ringer when they already went through the ringer to get there is absurd. Put them through your interview process. Make sure that they don't, they're not scumbags, and evaluate the film and draft off of that. You got guys out here who were freaking this guy who I feel terrible for this lineman from USC.
Yeah.
Career is over before it started because he tore his ACL at the combine.
I will say he tore his ACL and then went and did the bench press, which I thought was
he still
pretty
did
badass.
38 reps in the bench press.
That's
but
pretty
still,
badass.
Now, I don't know where this guy was going to go, but say this guy just went from the 2nd round to the 7th round or the 6th round. You're talking about millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars,
yeah. Man.
It's like, what do you think about the combine? I have mixed emotions on it, but I know that you're training kids that, to run some of these drills, right? That's what the scouts want to see. They want to see that 40 time. They want to see that shuttle time. They want to see
some scouts,
these kids.
Not all scouts, and I'll get to that later.
What are your thoughts on the combine?
For me, I feel they need to break it down based on the position, like as far as like what drills they're going to do. Like Drew just said, I feel like linemen, especially O linemen, I feel like they shouldn't be doing like majority of the same drills that running backs, DBs, or receivers should be doing. Same thing with like a quarterback.
Like you mean like they don't need to be doing like the 40?
They should.
Why does a lineman need to do a vertical for?
Yeah. I don't feel like they need to do a vertical. I don't feel like they need to do a 40. I feel like the 40 could be optional.
Shuttle, maybe like a shuttle.
Maybe the shuttle. I can see the shuttle because you're pulling and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe the shuttle.
But Rick,
L drill questionable. I feel like they should
maybe an edge rusher for like the 3-cone, right?
Well, no, that's why I said.
Though, guys?
I feel like they should break it down based on the position. Like as far as like a edge rusher or a D tackle, of course, they have to do certain things where you need to see if they can get in and out of transition and speed and all that stuff. But like an O lineman, I feel like they need to come up with like one drill to where you can see if they can move, and then just do indie with them, just to see how they do certain individual drills. Whether it's like Drew just said, a pulling drill where they can get out of their stance and go pull. See,
right.
That's
why I feel like the Senior Bowl, Senior Bowl is much more of a game.
100%, Brandon, because there's pads. But Rick, you're heavy on Twitter like I am, man. How many times do you see these rival combines and stuff like that where you got an offensive lineman against a defensive lineman and no pads, and you just got dudes grabbing shirts and throwing people down, and they're all going crazy because they call it a pancake when it's a freaking hold.
Yeah.
You don't have pads on, and Brandon just hit the nail right on the head. You want your evaluation, go to the Senior Bowl. You want to okay, I can make a case for an offensive lineman running a pro agility shows their quickness and their pullability, but dude, you're talking about you got an offensive lineman who played at USC. You don't have 11 games of his senior year or junior year that you could evaluate and see that stuff.
Yeah. It's on. I mean, with all the cameras out there, we always say it, the eye in the sky doesn't lie, right? You see the tape, you know what they put out there in college. By the time you get to the combine, it's done. I feel like the combine's good for interviews to meet these kids face to face.
Agreed. You maybe see them. Do they pass the eyeball test? How is Kayvon Thibodeau really 6'7"?
Right, exactly.
Specimen?
I think a lot of it is
you have to wear this huge chain to weigh what he weighs, right?
I think a lot of it is to compare those guys as well too, because like you just said, you might have a guy that might have great film in the Pac-12, and that was a good, whether it was O-line, D-line, whatever the case may be, and you might have another guy, say for instance, whoever was a top rusher in the Pac-12 or the Big Ten, and then you have an Anderson.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, is he that far off? Is him and Anderson on the same level? Does he move well like Anderson? You know what I'm saying? I think that's what they do it for. But like I said, I just feel like they need to. Everybody shouldn't do all the same drills.
Right.
The guys that are made for speed, let them run the 40, let them run do all the quick agility and all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Figure out some type of drills that O linemen can do for you to, you know what I'm saying, like see what they can do, see how they move, whatever case may be. Same thing with the D linemen, same thing with linebackers. Quarterbacks shouldn't be doing that stuff either. Like, I just feel like they need to break it down based on the drill. I mean, based on the position, not just everybody does the same exact stuff. And if you're a top-notch guy, then you can kind of like, oh no, I don't want to run the 40 today. Like,
yeah. I'll tell you what's wild though is the number of big guys now that are running sub 5.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like 4.99. I'm talking like 4.7, whatever. Yeah. Like some of these, it's unbelievable to see that. I mean, just as a fan watching that, to see a human being that big move like that is crazy. Now, when do you ever get a run 40 yards straight down the field on a football field? It's rare unless you're a skill position guy, you know, breaking out, like you said. But it's still wild.
I'll tell you what, right now, and Yemo hit it on the head. It's an overvaluation, and we talk about it. But if you draft a quarterback off of the throws that he makes at a combine, you're not a problem. You're not a PFG. You're not a PFG GM. You're a friggin' ASS. That's what kind of GM you are.
Capital letters.
That spells ass.
God. The shit you come up with, Drew.
Exclamation marks.
Yeah. One last question I have for you guys, because up from the combine, the biggest name that I saw that jumped up his draft stock was Anthony Richardson. Now, Slick, this dude's from Florida, right? And he made some unbelievable plays. He made some bonehead plays, but he's an athlete out there, and his stock rose based off of throwing against air at the combine. He's got a good arm. Do you think that that's a legitimate thing? Like you probably watched him more than I have. Do you think that he's hey, watch out for this kid? Or do you think this is just what we just said, an over evaluation based off of what he did at the combine?
Me personally, I think in Richardson's situation, in his case, I feel like his stock went up, and the reason why they're making a big noise about a big fuss about him is because of what he possibly could be.
Right.
He hasn't
based off his measurables, right?
Based off his measurables, he ran a 4.4 something in the 40. They know he has a cannon for an arm. He's big, height wise and body wise, and he moves the way he does. So I feel like it's more about the perception, like how it looks, what they can sell. You know what I'm saying, to viewers and whatever the case may be, or just to get people talking, because the same way they're doing everything to build him up and his stock, and oh my God, he's probably going to move up to be this, and this. As soon as he lands on the wrong team with the wrong system and he ends up being terrible, they're going to start comparing him to Russ. I mean, not Russ, but Russell. Jamarcus Russell, or another quarterback that was a bust.
Yeah.
And it's not that his everything just went out the window. It's just he landed with the wrong team. Like, I just feel like Drew said, like, let the guys get wherever they need to get in and let them prove themselves. Not base things off of him throwing against air. I mean, yes, you can, to an extent, you can kind of like look at it and be like, okay, he has some type of accuracy. But at the end of the day, the receivers aren't going against live bodies. There's no D-line or O-line in front of you. You don't have to scan the field and read a safety or a corner. Like,
yeah.
So I get
he's an athlete back there, and I think that's what's got people excited, is that he's an athlete that can throw the ball. He must have done really good at the interviews, because he was projected like mid first, and now all of a sudden people are talking like top 5. Could be the first quarterback off the board. Some people are saying, but I see Stroud. I see trying to think of the Bama guy, but he's small, like Bryce Young. Yeah, he's about the same size as Kyler Murray. Which is crazy. I have all those short jokes.
I'm just pissed off that I never made it to the combine, because if I made it to the combine, I probably would have got drafted, top 5. Because there wasn't a throw. There wasn't a throw. If we're gonna go down this road, there wasn't a throw that I freaking couldn't make on par with a lot of those guys.
I'll vouch for that.
I was never even close to that talent. But put me out on there in no pads and running on air, you would have never known the difference. And I will wholeheartedly Say that on the record.
I know for a fact, Drew. I mean, we played together, but you had the strongest arm that I've ever been around. Like that thing was on you all the time, you know. And
but I was not even. I would never even sniffed it, dude. It's just crazy to me. But
it's
whatever.
wild. It's wild.
Hot shot.
What time it is
already?
Of the week already, man.
This episode flew by.
It flew by. We got to play GM. Now we're gonna have a ton of shit to cover next week. Ton of stuff to cover. A lot of people that go in different places, right? We're gonna be talking contracts. Who knows what happens with Lamar Jackson? There's movement there. Who knows what's gonna happen with Aaron Rodgers? He's meeting with the Jets. They flew probably to his cave somewhere. We'll have a ton of stuff to talk about next week, but right now it's hot shot time. So let's start off with Slick. Slick, who's your hot shot of the week, man?
I give my hot shot of the week to you, my dude. Salute for your job situation. You know what I'm saying? Your promotion.
Oh, nice.
Like,
well done.
That's big. You know what I'm saying? Just how everything kind of unfolded the way it did at the right time.
That's wild, yeah.
So, like, hot shot to you, my guy.
I appreciate that, man.
Brandon.
It's nice, man. Thanks, fellas. Thanks, man. How about you, Drew?
I agree with Rick, man. Like I just want. Sorry, Rick's choking on tequila. I just want to give my hot shot. No, I'm just kidding. Let me read you this quote. I guess there is somewhat of a spectacle. To me, it's more at this point just being able to sit with these guys. They get medical during the week, but for us to be able to do these interviews is the biggest part of all this. It's not even about working out portion. To me, you grade them off the tape. You don't grade somebody out here in pajamas running the 40 with no defenders around. My hot shot of the week goes to Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. That is the realest friggin' man that I've ever seen in the last 2 years in the NFL as a head coach, for keeping it real in the media. I hate the combine. Dan Campbell hates the combine. Thank you for making it a point to point it out. It is what it is. It's good for interviews. It's good for medical history. Stop putting these guys through friggin' rigorous workouts and risking their careers. Do better, NFL. Hot shot of the week, Dan Campbell.
Love it, man. I love it. My hot shot of the week, guys. So today is International Women's Day, right? And so I started to look at the women that are in football, and we've kind of started to see this a little bit. And at first, I wasn't a huge fan of it, just because I feel like you don't have that helmet on, you might not know exactly what it's like, but you're starting to see people make a really big difference in there. That the referee, what's her name? Sarah Thomas. She's the first one that pops into my mind. So I want to tip my hat to some of these trailblazing women that are coming out there and getting into the game, because they love it like we love it. They just haven't had the opportunity to play. And I look at my daughter and I see how much she truly enjoys the game of football. She sees me happy with it. She loves it. She's asking when she can play football, and I'm telling her, never, baby, you're going to play soccer. You're not going to go get hit. You're not going to get any of that stuff. But she just absolutely loves it. She's like, she reminds me of, what is that? Remember the Titans? Where she's yelling in the stands. Yeah. That is my daughter, man. So hey, all those ladies out there that love the game, that congratulations. Lingerie football. Damn it, Larry.
That's what's wrong with it. Well, I don't know. Depends on who you ask, I guess.
Yeah, it's true.
He said that's what's wrong with football.
Yeah, is that what he said?
Brandon's trying to give a
sentimental
ode to women in football.
We got like, lingerie, LFL.
Watch them in the panties.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God.
Do they still have lingerie football?
Yes, they still have it somewhere.
I haven't seen it in a while.
What's crazy is in that league, you see like the mic'd ups on these coaches that are like, nuts,
I saw that. I thought that was kind of like, we used to have two teams in Florida. We had one in Tampa. I want to say one in Orlando.
Hey, don't say it too loud. Man. Your girl's probably right around. She's like, you know where those are at? Rick? You know where those are at? I bet you know where those games are.
I was in my 20s.
Nice.
I was me then, you know.
Yo, Let's go. We're gonna
Let's get out of here. Yeah, we're gonna get canceled before this. Hey, we'll see you guys next week. We'll have a lot of news, a lot of new faces, and some new places. Until then, guys, we are out.
Peace out.
Lingerie Football League. Freaking Larry's gonna get his canceled. We don't even know what's going on.
Brandon.
Gosh dang it.
Who gave Larry a microphone?
That is